Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 43 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 24. And welcome to Cliff Notes. A good Thursday to y'all. Not just any Thursday, it's eviction day. And not just any eviction day, it's a special 2-hour live episode. We're going to have an eviction, but then we get to find out what this twist is that's happening over tonight. The house is going to be split in two. Sounds like we're going to have two HOHs. It's going to be an exciting night. But again, before we get into the twist, we got to send the very first person to the jury house. It certainly appears right now we've got Terrance and Indy on the block. It certainly seems like Indy is going to be heading out the door. The theme overnight, the question overnight has been, is it going to be a close vote? Is it going to be a unanimous vote? Somewhere in between. Terrance hadn't been doing a lot of campaigning or pitching in the last 24 hours. Indy has. She's been playing it lower key than I expected, but she certainly has been asking a lot of people for votes and not always getting the true or the committed answers that she expected. So we're going to talk all about that. So again, I think tonight probably Indy goes home, but hey, we still have another 12 hours before that happens. All right, so we had an episode last night. About the time that the East Coast episode ended, the live feeds cut away immediately after that in order for the house guests to celebrate their halfway point of the season. They had Jasmine's birthday night before last, and then last night they had their halfway party. I remember mine. It's a great party. Involves pizza and music for a couple hours, alcohol, and a cake with everyone's picture on the top of the cake. And it's all to celebrate getting halfway through the season. Now, I remember during my season, we had ours and sang along to the music and everything else. Kat got upset because someone happened to eat the piece of cake that had her face on it. I don't think we ever did find out who that was. So I guess that was our own version of Muffingate, Catgate or something. But anyway, they had their halfway celebration and seemed to be enjoying hanging out with each other and just having fun with the evening. Now, after that, while they're sitting around, Jasmine talks about celebrating her birthday week, and Turner just can't resist. Turner just jumps in and says, yeah, you had your birthday day. Now it's your birthday week. Then we're going to have your birthday month. And Jasmine, we still get to celebrate your birthday year. And everyone's laughing about it. Jasmine takes it jokingly. She says, oh, Turner, I'm so happy that you got to stay here and celebrate my birthday with me. So they are having fun with that. All right. We did have some strategy going on last night. We've got Taylor talking to Indy and Jasmine and Alyssa saying, yeah, I really was interested in maybe a little cuddling with Joseph while we were chained together, and I really was hoping something would happen. But she's saying nothing happened. Nothing at all. Joseph just doesn't want to have a showmance of any sort, and very much acting like this was just a failed experiment. Now, remember, Joseph and Taylor planned this planned breakup. Can you call it a breakup if it never started? They were pushing this idea, this fomance, and now they're going to start pushing the opposite direction, act like nothing happened. They don't want to get a target on them like they feel Alyssa and Kyle have. They also don't want to appear so close that the other side will stop giving Joseph information. So they're making it sound like it just didn't work out between the two of them, that they're distancing themselves from each other. So Taylor's telling the three girls this. They're all surprised. They're saying, oh, that's such a shame. I really thought he, was liked you. This was just going to be perfect, and very surprised. But Taylor does a good job of blaming on other things, saying, his family. He kept saying his dad was watching the live feeds. There's probably a lot of things just in the house that he just wasn't comfortable doing. Now, he's probably a shy guy, and Jasmine saying, I bet he's one of those outside the house without the cameras on and everything. He wouldn't be shy at all. And so they're trying to cheer up Taylor a little bit and say, no, there may be more chances on down the road, just stick with it and all of that. So Taylor's got him convinced that she and Joseph didn't quite work out. Now, with all of that being said, Indy certainly wants to take advantage of every situation she can. They're talking about Taylor and Joseph for a little while. Then Indy jumps in and says, look, Taylor, if it's a tie vote, I just want to confirm one more time. If it's a tie vote, you're going to keep me, right? And Taylor says, oh, I got you back. I got you back. Yeah, don't worry about it. Meanwhile, Taylor's been telling everyone upstairs in the HOH room saying, I don't want it to be a tie. I don't want me being the one that has to make a decision. This needs to be as close to unanimous as we can get it. So she doesn't figure that she's going to get called on this little lie that she's telling Indy, but she's saying, yeah, I got you covered. No problem at all. All right. After the halfway celebration, all that, eventually we get the group kind of splitting into two separate groups. Some of them in the bathroom, some of them in the car bedroom. Really, there's nothing strategic talk going on at this point. Too big a group, too much of a mix of the two groups. So just a lot of casual conversation going on. Now, we do have Brittany talking to Alyssa, and she's saying that she's really torn about tonight's vote. She just doesn't know what to do. She wants to support Indy being one of the females in the house, and she really is torn about strategically versus personality and what she wants to do. Alyssa comes back to Brittany and says, well, I hate to do it. It's killing me, but I think I'll probably vote out Indy. She's not sure what Joseph is going to do with his vote and all that. There's a lot of talk from Brittany during this conversation about who would potentially target her, Indy versus Terrance, who she would want at the end of the game sitting next to her. And basically she's saying, I think Indy would be more likely to put me on the block, Alyssa. And I certainly feel more comfortable winning against Terrance towards the end as opposed to Indy. It seems like Brittany is really trying to very subtly convince Alyssa to vote Indy out the door without just being in her face about it. So she's giving out all the reasons that she would want Indy gone that also probably translate to reasons that Alyssa should want Indy gone as well. So Brittany's doing her little bit of work to make sure Alyssa's on board. Later, Alyssa, I think it's in the bathroom. Alyssa's in the shower. Jasmine comes in, and Alyssa's basically whispering all the same arguments that Brittany gave to her. She's whispering them to Alyssa as well. I mean, to Jasmine as well. Now, Jasmine's sounding a little bit more torn when she's talking to Alyssa. And she's talking about saying, girl, I promised that we would all stick together from day one, and it would kill me if I can't do that. So I get what you're saying, but I just don't know what I'm going to do at this point in time. All right, we've got Taylor and Monty and Michael up in the HOH room. Michael is reporting some of the stuff that happened earlier in the day. He's saying that Indy pulled him and Brittany and Alyssa and Jasmine into the storage room and saying, look, I've got my 5. I've got the 4 of y'all, Brittany, Michael, Alyssa, Jasmine. I've got the 4 of y'all plus Joseph. This is the 5 swatters, right? This alliance. She's saying, I've got my votes I need to stay as long as I can just count on y'all's votes. Well, that's the big if, isn't it? All right, we've also got Jasmine. They're reporting that Jasmine had told Michael that she's undecided about how she's going to cast this vote. Now, Brittany apparently told Indy that she might not have all 5 votes locked in. I think this may have been in the have-not room. So everyone's starting to break the news to Indy a little bit. Let her get adjusted to the idea that it may not be as guaranteed as she wants. So Brittany's told Indy that, just don't assume that you've got everything locked in. And it's in the have-not room. Alyssa and Jasmine have also told Indy that they're a little bit undecided. So the fact that Alyssa and Jasmine are telling Indy they don't know exactly where they're going, that should be the biggest red flag of anything that Indy heard all day yesterday, that she may not quite have the votes that she wants. So again, they're starting to slowly break it to Indy that she's probably not going to be sticking around. All right. We do have Michael talking. Who's all up there? I think Taylor's up there, and I think Monty may have been up there. Michael is talking about the fact that he doesn't have anything huge against Indy. And at the end of the day, he wouldn't mind casting a sympathy vote to get her out the door. He says the other 3, Terrance and Alyssa and Jasmine, he said, I'll tell them to their face I'm not voting for them, and they can go home unanimous votes. I don't care. He said, but Indy, I'd like to at least not make it unanimous if possible. But he's very careful to say, but Taylor, I know you don't want a split decision that you've got to break a tie. He says, if there's any chance of that, then I'll just go ahead and vote Indy out. But if it's going to be close to unanimous, I'd love to be able to give her a sympathy vote. And Taylor says, yeah, no, I don't have any problem with that. It's probably going to be 7-1, maybe 6-2. With that being in mind, yeah, go for it. Cast a sympathy vote. I don't care. So it looks like Michael may be doing that. Now, here's the deal. You cast a sympathy vote. He'll probably say in his goodbye message something like, I voted to keep you. I don't know if anyone else did. I think Michael may be working on a little jury management on here, and fair enough. That's what you do at this stage of the game. All right, Taylor is talking about Alyssa and saying, I just really, of everyone that's left, I don't want Alyssa to win the HOH. I think that's a good assumption, Taylor. That's probably, you would not want that. You may not want Jasmine as well. But she's talking as well about Alyssa. She's a little upset. Well, we've had Muffin Gate, we've had Cider Gate, we've had Balloon Gate. Now we got Photo Gate, because apparently they've got a little digital camera that they've been taking pictures with. And Taylor's upset that Alyssa was apparently deleting a lot of pictures. She says if they're her own pictures, whatever. If she doesn't like the posture or whatever, delete them. I don't care. But she's upset because apparently she thinks that Alyssa was also deleting pictures when Kyle was posing with Taylor. That out of some jealous moments that Alyssa went in and deleted all of those. And I think Michael's the one that's saying, yeah, he had heard that maybe she was going to do that. But they have the camera with them. They go in and check it, and at least there's some photos still of Alyssa and Taylor. Did I say Alyssa and Taylor? Kyle and Taylor posing together for photos. So there's still some photos there. So maybe she didn't delete them as they are suspecting at this point in time. All right, we've got Indy and Alyssa are just stressed out. Alyssa ends up by herself in the bathroom having a bit of a crying session. Indy is again asking for votes from her and Kyle. She comes in and is asking for votes. Alyssa's torn, and it's going to continue throughout the night. At one point, Alyssa is alone and crying in the Jetsons' bedroom. This is probably a 15 or 20-minute little session, just laying in bed in tears. Now, at the time, I wasn't sure, was it a Kyle issue with the showmance? Was it because of the vote tomorrow? Turns out it's a little bit of both, as she tells Jasmine a little bit later. This game is stressful. You develop feelings, you develop attachments to people. Sometimes you know what the strategic thing is to do, but that doesn't mean that you still don't feel bad and uncomfortable about some of the things that happens. And I think Alyssa's going through some of that right now. All right, so as I mentioned, Alyssa and Jasmine are together right after that in the golf bedroom. Alyssa's saying, look, I just do not know what to do with this vote tomorrow. And Jasmine's saying, look, I know what the right thing to do is. The right thing is to vote to keep Indy. But Jasmine's also saying that she just doesn't want to vote a black person out, which she would have to do if she voted out Terrance. So that's where Jasmine is torn a little bit. Alyssa is also now crying again and saying that she just wants, as she thinks about this vote, as she stresses out about this vote, she just wants Kyle to comfort her. So again, it is a Kyle and a vote issue both. But Kyle's been trying to distance himself from Alyssa. Maybe he told her that a couple of days ago, said we need to kind of space ourselves out just a little bit. So Alyssa's now has this tough decision to make. She doesn't feel like Kyle's giving her the comfort, the support that she needs right now. So it's just been a rough 24 hours for Alyssa. She's not on the block. There's a couple of people who've had a rougher 24 hours, but Alyssa's feeling a little emotional right now. All right, we've got Joseph telling Brittany that Indy had said, that's like a game of telephone. Joseph's telling Brittany that Indy had said that Jasmine is saying that she is undecided on the vote, but that Indy thinks that Jasmine is saying that only so that Jasmine can figure out what people's true intentions are. If Indy says, oh, I'm voting to save Indy, well, then the other people may not actually tell the truth to Jasmine. So Indy's convinced that, yeah, it's Jasmine's just saying that so she can get the true gauge of everyone else's actions. But at the end of the day, she'll still vote to save me. So we'll see if that's the case. Joseph's saying that they still think that he's going to vote to keep Indy as well. Brittany is saying that Jasmine and Alyssa are kind of strong-arming her to force her to vote to save Indy. They're putting a lot of pressure on Brittany. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on her again today as well. They feel like as a female in the house that they should be able to count on her to vote to save Indy and such. So strong arming her, and I expect that to continue. Taylor is telling them that, yeah, look, Michael's going to give the sympathy vote to Indy, but other than that, I think we're good. At which point Joseph speaks up and says, hey, I'd like to give a sympathy vote also, and Joseph playing the game, jury management also. So he wants to give a sympathy vote. So you could have a 6-2 vote. Discussion comes up at one point, says, well, hey, just let Michael give his vote. Y'all two both argue against each other, say, no, I cast a sympathy vote. No, I cast a sympathy vote. And let the other side not have a clue about who actually has the support and who doesn't. They don't have any way of knowing one way or the other, right? All right, we've got Taylor telling Brittany, again, the story that Alyssa is deleting the photos of Taylor and Kyle together. Well, it seems like maybe that was proven wrong, but Taylor's still complaining a little bit to Brittany at that point in time. We've got Joseph talking to Jasmine and Alyssa and telling them that, look, if Taylor would have backdoored Monty if that veto had been used. In other words, Joseph's trying to beat back this argument that Taylor was going after Alyssa. No, that's not the case, Alyssa. No, she was going after Monty. Just Kyle messed it up by not using the veto. Otherwise, Monty'd be out the door. You girls would be safe. Continuing the company line there. All right, Indy's telling Monty and Brittany and Kyle about life as a corporate flight attendant. Completely not game related at all, but I love travel and hearing her talk about some of her stories and traveling and bringing food with her, and that guys spend millions and millions of dollars on a flight. You got to be cheery and happy even when you aren't and everything. It's interesting listening to her talk about life as a flight attendant. All right, we've got Joseph and Kyle and Taylor and Michael in the HOH room. Kyle's been telling Alyssa that Indy absolutely needs to go. He's been trying to get her on board to vote Indy out the door. And Joseph says, well, here's the thing. Jasmine is trying to stay loyal to Indy. It seems like she's still pushing to try to keep Indy safe. And he says, but Alyssa does seem more flexible. So Kyle, whoever you told her, it seems like Alyssa's kind of repeating some of that as well, and maybe leaning towards voting Indy out. So I think we've got Alyssa voting along with us at the same time. Monty comes into the HOH just a little bit later. And at this point, Joseph is saying that Jasmine is saying that she wants to keep Indy, that it's a bit of a jury management standpoint from Jasmine's standing, and also because Indy's a good competitor and Jasmine thinks that she needs some good competitors on her side. So it's sounding like they're thinking Jasmine will vote out Terrance. Alyssa still may vote out Indy, so they don't have too much to worry about. Eventually, we also have Alyssa and Turner also upstairs in the HOH room, so we're getting more and more folks coming in. Indy's downstairs reading the Bible, just taking some alone, some me time at that point in time. We've got Joseph playing double agent. How long are they going to keep up this charade? The other side's got to figure out at some point, right? But not last night, not yet. Joseph's still playing double agent with Indy and Jasmine, acting like he's on board to save her, like he doesn't know what the other side's doing, everything else. Jasmine is buying it and is complaining about Brittany. She's saying, look, I can read Brittany like a book. She's saying different things to us down here, and then she goes upstairs and she says something different. She's saying, I just can't trust Brittany. She's not really a girl's girl. I know that she's playing both sides as much as she can. But she is saying this vote's going to be huge because we'll see which way Brittany votes, and that's going to say a lot about where Brittany's actual side is. Well, you're not going to be happy with the results, Jasmine. And she's saying at the end, Brittany's just not loyal to the girls. Brittany was never a member of the girls. She was excluded from it. So I don't know that you should be expecting a lot of loyalty at this point in time. All right, we've got Indy talking about Joseph, saying that he's talking to Jasmine, saying that Joseph, I guess at some point, they've asked him something about who would you hook up with in this house, or who would you be attached to in the house or something. And Joseph said something along the lines of someone who really isn't available. So Indy mentions that, and Jasmine immediately says, could he be talking about me? And Jasmine's saying, maybe, I don't know. Stay away from that, Jasmine. Don't be asking those questions. All right, we've got everyone up in the HOH room except for Jasmine and Terrance. Terrance may already be asleep. I'm not sure. And Jasmine is down by herself. But everyone else is up in the HOH room and hanging out. Just again, general, too many people have any game talk, but they're hanging out and just talking about life in general. Eventually, everyone takes off except for the leftovers. We've got the leftovers in an official meeting up in the HOH room. They're talking about voting out Indy. It sounds like it's a done deal. They've got the votes, but now how do they cover this thing up? Because just because you got the other side outnumbered 7-2, you still have to cover everything up, right? They'll take it as long as they can, but there's talk about how they're doing it. And eventually Joseph is saying, look, I'm going to vote out Indy, whatever. We'll say whatever we need to say, but if I can come up with an excuse, great, but I'm certainly going to go ahead and vote her out. Brittany comes up with an interesting suggestion. Brittany is suggesting that Joseph say that he found out about girls, and Brittany found out about the Five Swatters Alliance. So they come up with this idea that they're going to approach Indy and say, look, and Jasmine, I suppose, as well, and Alyssa, and say, look, we are comparing notes. Joseph and I just have to be talking. And Joseph, I found out from Joseph about this Five Swatters that, hey, Brittany, me, I was not part of the Five Swatters, Indy. And then Joseph found out that you're part of the Girls Alliance, which you've been swearing up and down there was never a Girls Alliance. And he finds out it's the case. So they're basically going to say, based on all these alliances that we found out you're part of, that you never told me, you never told Joseph, it's why the vote went against Indy. So that's the game plan going forward. Now, I don't know if they're going to tell Indy this before they vote her out, or this is more after Indy's gone, that they're going to talk about this to Jasmine as a way just to cover up that this other side has this big alliance. Not sure which way it's going to go. We'll find out. Monty does say that he and Kyle and Turner have already told Indy that she doesn't have their votes. Well, I know that Indy's counted a few people like Turner saying, yeah, I'm not going to get his vote, but she thinks she's got this Five Swatter to give her the support that she truly doesn't have. A little talk about future competitions, true, false, forward, backs, things like that. It's not going to matter. Any kind of planning going forward is not going to matter because of this huge twist coming up. But they talk about that a little bit. And then finally, all of them take turns talking to the cameras, saying good nights and hellos to their family members. I think Michael's got a sister who's pregnant. Just a lot of just general conversation to the camera and to the loved ones watching everything else. I always like watching that. Then eventually, right before they all break down or shut down for the evening, Taylor tells everyone to study hard for the HOH. They're really thinking the next comp could be a mental comp. They think it's going to be a double eviction. So they think that the next HOH will be a very quick competition, which could be some kind of mental competition. She's saying everyone needs to study hard this evening. Tomorrow, we want to keep the HOH key in the family. Taylor's saying that the HOH room needs to be renamed the Leftovers Lair. Don't be getting too cocky about your position in this game, Taylor and the rest of the leftovers. Just when you think you got this thing figured out and you're going to steamroll to the very end, something like tonight's twist is going to kick in and churn everything up and there better not be anyone that's too confident tonight after this twist is announced, because all kinds of things could change. But at least for right now, they think they got this thing figured out. They got it licked. It's just a matter of kicking out 1 or 2, 3 more people from the left that aren't part of the leftovers, and then they'll figure out inside. Well, a little roadblock between then and there. So eventually the leftovers break up their meeting, 3:45 or so in the morning. We do have one final little conversation. Brittany and Joseph are in the bathroom getting ready for bed, and they're talking about firming up how they're going to tell the girls about them finding out from each other about these alliances. And they're saying, let's not give too many details. Let's just mention that we know about it. And at that point, they're probably not going to want to go into a lot of details, but they'll know that you know about the Five Swatters, that I know about the girls. And then, we've got some reasons for voting the way that we're voting. So they think they've got that figured out. Finally, everyone in bed by 4 o'clock or so. So it was a decently late evening, but they did try to get to bed a little bit earlier, considering they got some competitions going on today. So there you have it, guys. A little bit more Indy trying to secure votes that just aren't going to be there, and she'll find out this evening. I think she probably is going to be told ahead of time. I think they're going to reveal it to her. That's the one thing Indy says, please just don't let me do like a mirror or pooch and get blindsided. Let me know ahead of time. If she finds out ahead of time, we'll see how she responds. I think she'll be okay with it. So Indy's going to be our first juror, almost certainly. And then we get to find out what the twist is. and it's going to be an incredible 24 hours. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. I will be back tomorrow morning, talk all about the twist and all the scenarios out there. It's going to be incredible. Till then, have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.